Hello, I'm Cassandra from Brazil. Please like and subscribe because MSA will give $1,000 to one lucky person in the coming 7 days. I was born with curly hair, and growing up, everyone always had something lovely to say about it. She's such a doll with those blonde curls and big blue eyes. A doll? She looks exactly like her dad. How can a girl with manly features look like a doll? She's so unlucky she doesn't look like me. Yeah, everyone thought I was adorable, except my mom. Her hair was as straight as a pencil, and mine just seemed to annoy her. Well, everything about me seemed to annoy her. She just spent her days watching TV or talking for hours to her friends, mostly ignoring me. But I didn't really mind. I had loads of imaginary friends. Thankfully, Dad was nothing like her. We were rich, and he was the owner of a local sugarcane factory. And as a kid, I used to think he must be so sweet because he made sugar. In the evening, when he'd come back home, I'd drop everything and go running into his arms, and he would always have a surprise for me in his bag. "Did you eat all your vegetables today, honey?" "Of course I did, Daddy." But Mom would find a way to ruin the moment. "Will you stop giving her sweets? Do you want her to get chubby and have all her teeth fall out?" But Dad just ignored her, and so did I. I think she was just mad that Dad loved me more than he loved her. One day, when I went with my mom to the nearby grocery store, we bumped into our neighbor and her daughter Karen, who was around my age. She was such a brat. Every time we met, she'd pull weird faces at me behind our moms' backs. But as we were leaving, she'd turn to Mom and smile at her like an angel. "Bye, Auntie. It was so nice to see you." Aw, your daughter is the sweetest, and I love her beautiful straight hair. I wish I had a daughter like her. "But Mommy, you have me, and I'm also pretty. Daddy says so." Karen is just a lovely child. Unfortunately, Karen and I were in the same school, and because she was jealous that she wasn't the prettiest girl in class, she was always trying to mess with me. Once in 5th grade, we were at a farm for a school outing, and when the teacher wasn't looking, Karen tripped me up. I went flying face forward into a pile of cow dung. "Now you look like one of the farm animals." Everyone started laughing, and the teacher helped me get cleaned up. But of course, I had to do something to get back at Karen. As the farmer was telling us about his prized pigs, I saw Karen leaning over the fence of the pigsty. I walked up to her quietly with a feather and tickled the back of her leg, and she suddenly laughed out loud and toppled over the fence, straight into the sty. "Look, everyone, there's a new piggy called Karen." Everyone roared with laughter as Karen rose furiously, covered from head to toe in mud. She glared at me and screamed, but she couldn't prove I'd done anything. A few weeks later, it was time for our school concert, and the girls in our class had to perform a dance. The teacher put Karen and I in the front row since we knew the moves better than the rest. On the night of the concert, the performance was going really well, but suddenly Karen bumped really hard into me and knocked me right off the stage. The music stopped as everyone turned to stare at me. I jumped back onto the stage and pushed Karen furiously. We broke into a huge fight as the teachers separated us, and since everyone saw me attack her, I was banned from the performance. I saw my mom in the audience shaking her head in disappointment, and I just ran off the stage. I bumped straight into my dad in the hallway outside, and he hugged me as I cried angry tears. "It wasn't my fault, Dad. She pushed me first." "I know, I saw that. I'll have a talk with her parents and the principal. Don't you worry." Just then, my mom appeared from behind, fuming. "You will do no such thing. Our daughter was wrong. Everyone saw her push Karen on stage." "But Mom, I fell down first because she pushed." "Stop making up stories and take some responsibility for your actions. Don't talk to her like that. She's just a child, and you spoil her too much." Some days I really hated my mom. She was a negative ball that rolled around my life, and if it wasn't for my dad, I don't know where I'd be. When it was time for high school, I was really hopeful that I'd never see Karen again. But my bubble of hope burst on the very first day when someone pushed me from behind and said, "I can't believe you're in my school, loser." Gosh, I'm so tired of you, Karen. You've been on my case ever since you moved next to my house. What do you want from me? "Nothing. I just enjoy picking on you." I couldn't take it any longer, so I pushed her so hard that she went flying into the dustbin. Everyone around laughed, and I kind of became popular because of that incident. Karen kept her distance after that, and luckily we didn't have any classes together, except drama club. The school was soon arranging the Aladdin musical, and I was really eager to get the lead role of Jasmine. I prepared for the audition, but when I stepped up in front of the judges, I suddenly froze and forgot all my dialogues. So Karen got the role of Jasmine, and I got cast as Jasmine's pet tiger. Come here, pussycat, and kneel before your queen. Oh, please, Karen, it's just a stupid play. One day during rehearsal, I was waiting for my part in the play when I ended up falling asleep backstage. And when I woke up, it was really late. The doors were already locked, and when I yelled, my voice just echoed back. Great. It seemed like I was stuck here till my parents realized I was missing. And then I decided to fool around on stage. I put on Jasmine's costume and started performing alone and singing. I sang so well, I even surprised myself. I bowed in front of a pretend audience, and my heart almost jumped out of my throat when someone actually clapped. Who's there? Suddenly, a tall, cute boy rose from a dark corner and stepped forward. Hi there, I'm Sean. What are you doing here? I sometimes stay behind to help my dad clean up after everyone goes home. He's the janitor here. By the way, I loved your performance. Are you the lead in the show? No, I'm not. I was just fooling around. But you were so good, Cassandra. I even recorded you on my phone. Oh, please delete that. Wait a second, you know my name? Yeah, everyone does. You're famous for pushing that Karen into the dustbin. I know. Sean had the keys for the door, and when he walked me out, it was already getting dark. He offered to walk me back home, and as soon as I got there, Dad hugged me tight. Sweetie, we were getting so worried about you. You wouldn't even pick up your phone. Sorry, Dad. I just got late with rehearsals and my phone died. Who was that boy who came home with you? You have a boyfriend now? No, Mom. He's the janitor's son. The janitor's son is your boyfriend? I knew you'd always make poor choices. If I see you with that boy again, you will do what, Mom? And what's wrong with being the janitor's son? He's no different than you or me. You see how she talks to me? This is all your fault. You spoiled her too much. No, I love her too much. Now, please be quiet. You're giving me a headache. Before I fell asleep that night, Sean popped up in my mind, and I couldn't wait to see him again. At school the next day, I looked around for him, but I didn't find him anywhere, so I decided to try the auditorium. When I got there, I spotted him at the piano, playing beautifully. Wow, that was lovely. Hey, I thought I wouldn't see you again. Why not? We're in the same school. I sat next to him, and we talked and enjoyed each other's company. Then he asked me to sing for him as he played the piano. Just as the song ended, he turned to me with a smile, and his face was just inches away from mine. But suddenly, someone burst into the auditorium and started taking pictures of us. It was freaking Karen. This is going to go viral. Cassandra dating the janitor's son. Do what you want, Karen. I don't care what people think. Karen posted the pictures on Instagram and sent them to my mother, too. And she went ballistic. You better stop seeing this boy or I will move out of the house. It'll be a relief for me and Dad if you leave. It's not like you make us happy. Cassandra, that's not a nice thing to say to your mom. But it's true, Dad. Mom is never happy about anything. Mom stormed off angrily while Dad stayed and spoke to me about Sean. This time, he sided with Mom and told me that I was too young to have boyfriends. But Dad, he is not my boyfriend. He's just a good friend. I think it's best you stay away from him, Cassandra. Dad hardly ever asked me to do anything, so when he politely requested that, I felt I had to do it. I avoided Sean all day in school, but when I was walking back home, he caught up with me. Please, Cassandra, wait. I know you don't want to talk to me or be seen with me in school. It's not that, Sean. I think my parents don't approve. I'm sorry. Don't be. I understand that, and I won't bother you again. That's all I wanted to say. I felt bad as I watched him walk away, and I didn't want to disappoint Dad either. And after a few days, I noticed Sean had stopped coming to school. I asked the school administration about him, and they told me his dad had resigned and withdrawn Sean from the school. They had no more details of their whereabouts. Sean had left, and I hadn't even said goodbye. Even a year later, I thought of him often. And then one day when I went to school, I saw everyone glued to their phones. And when they saw me, they came running. Hey, Cassandra, looks like your janitor boyfriend is famous now. Look, he even wrote a song for you. She showed me her phone, and I was shocked. Sean was on YouTube dedicating his song to me. This one's for you, Cassandra. Your head of gold and your eyes so blue. The voice of an angel, believe me, it's true. From the moment we met, I already knew you were meant for me, and I'll come back for you. I was lost for words. His song melted my heart. And just then, Karen approached me. Aw, the janitor boy wrote you a song. Why don't you go find him and live happily ever after in a gutter? You're just a jealous witch. Why don't you go find yourself a boyfriend and stay away from me? Oh, I know why. Because no guy wants to date a mean girl like you. I'm sure your mom won't be too pleased about this song your lover boy wrote for you. For the love of God, go get a life, Karen. But But when I got home, Karen was already with my mom playing the innocent angel and showing Mom the song. Cassandra, what's this I hear about you wanting to run after the janitor boy? Oh, is that what she told you? Don't give me that attitude. I'm your mother. If you're going to believe this witch who's bullied your daughter all her life, then I have no mother. Before Mom could yell at me, the phone suddenly rang, and her expression changed completely. She put down the receiver and said in a shaky voice, "Come, we have to go. Your dad's in the hospital." My heart almost stopped when I heard those words. My dad was my rock. If anything happened to him, I wouldn't know what to do. When we got to the hospital, the doctor told us that Dad had a small heart attack and that he needed to stay in the hospital for a few weeks. The drive home with Mom was very quiet. Then suddenly she spoke. "How about we eat out tonight?" "Without Dad? I don't feel like it." "Okay, we'll just go home then." The next day, I got up and went to school without saying anything to Mom. I just couldn't stop feeling angry at her, like I wanted to blame her for everything that was going wrong in my life. At lunch, I realized I'd forgotten to bring any lunch money because Dad always gave it to me. As I sat alone in the cafeteria watching the latest MSA episode on my phone, Karen suddenly came along with her friends. "Aw, watching MSA, babe?" "Yeah, everyone loves MSA, but you still look sad." "Aw, it looks like Cassandra's daddy didn't give her lunch money today." "Get away from me, Karen. I'm not in the mood for you." "Here, you can have some of my food." She suddenly smacked her plate of pasta on my shirt, and before I could hit her, Mom walked into the cafeteria. She'd seen what Karen did, and she was so angry that she complained to the principal, and Karen got detention for a month. "Why are you here, Mom? Is Dad okay?" "Yes, he's doing just fine. I just came to give you your lunch money." I could sense that she was trying to connect with me, so I decided to give her a chance. One day at dinner, we were eating silently when suddenly Mom started to cry. I'd never seen her shed a tear before. "What's wrong, Mom?" "Oh, I was just thinking about your dad and how hard things would be without him. I know I'm sometimes difficult with him and also with you, but it doesn't mean I don't love you both very much. You know that, right?" It was the first time I'd ever heard her say that she loved me. I took a moment to myself, then leaned forward and took her hand. "Yeah, I know, Mom, and I'm right here with you." Dad came home after some weeks, but he still needed to rest, so Mom started to go to his factory instead to oversee things. And I was amazed at how good she was at it. That's when I found out that she used to work there before she had me. I decided one day that I'd do something nice for Mom since she was working so hard. I cooked dinner and had the table all laid out by the time she got home, and she nearly cried when she saw it. "Oh, my darling, thank you so much for being the best daughter in the world." I hugged Mom, and Dad joined in too. We were finally one small happy family. After a few months, it was prom night, and I didn't have a date. After Sean's song went viral, everyone assumed I was still his girlfriend, so no one bothered asking me out. It wasn't true, though. Sean had never even gotten in touch with me. He was probably off traveling the world and getting famous. I was planning to miss prom, but my parents wouldn't hear of it. Mom helped me pick out a dress, and then Dad took pictures of me as I left the house. "Remember, come back before the clock strikes 12 or else you'll turn into a pumpkin." The prom was fine, until they started playing Sean's song. Jeez, why did they have to play this? I was leaving the hall when suddenly Karen bumped into me with her date. "Oh, what a shame. Someone seems so lonely." "Seriously, Karen, grow up. I don't need a boy to have a good time at my prom." "Are you sure?" My heart skipped a beat, and I turned around to see Sean. He was wearing a suit, and he looked even better than I remembered. "May I have this dance?" I took his hand, and we danced the night away, gazing into each other's eyes. I smiled, because he did come back for me. Hi, my name is Akira, and I'm the daughter of our tribe's chief. My entire tribe fawned over me, and not just because I was beautiful. I was born with a perfect memory. I remember every single moment of my life in crystal clarity since I was a toddler. I remember each tree of the endless jungle where I lived with my people. At only 5 years old, I could point the way home through our forest, and all the adults were amazed. "She has an amazing mind. Let's take her foraging with us." Foraging meant collecting mushrooms and plants for everyone to eat. I was an instant hit in my mother's group. I could remember the name, shape, and smell of every plant perfectly, and by the time I was 11, the entire tribe relied on me to check the food. Poisonous, not poisonous, not poisonous, poisonous. Akira is a gift from God. She should be our next leader. Ha! The next leader? This weakling? Please. That's my older sister, Misa. She was only a few years older than me, but we were complete opposites. Misa was a goddess with a bow and arrow, as strong and fierce as our father. And me? Well, I was clumsy, noisy, and I could barely lift her bow. When Father tried to make me hunt, I just fell in love with the little rabbits. I ended up adopting 3. I was brave during the day where I was safe under the sun. But at night, I cowered in my mother's arms while Misa ran around scaring any animals that came close. You are such a wuss. Am not. To be chief, you have to beat me, your elder sister, and the best hunter in the jungle. I'm the best forager. So, plants are easy to catch. They just sit on the ground. I dare you to go hunting with us. Akira's mind is special. We can't let her be in danger. So, I should be the one in danger? Misa truly disliked me, and honestly, I couldn't blame her. I spent years in our hut, getting fanned as I tasted mushrooms, while she came home covered in scratches and bruises. One time, when I was 14, I snuck away from Mother with a bag full of meat and bread. I was gonna have a jungle picnic with Misa and make her like me, but my plan backfired big time. You brought meat? The smell is gonna attract bears, you loser! Then eat it fast. I'd barely said that when crazy loud roars started echoing in the jungle. What is that? That doesn't sound like a bear. Everyone, fan out and follow the sound. Why aren't we running away? We need to see what we're running from. Just shut up and don't trip over something. We crossed the river to reach the nonstop roars, and that's when we saw it. It wasn't animals. It was people I'd never seen before, cutting down trees with a weird, roaring metal saw. No! They're cutting our trees! We have to stop them! I launched myself forward, but Misa pulled me down into the bushes. Don't call attention to us. They have weapons. We have to tell Father. Come on. We all raced home together, but when we told everyone what happened, the adults didn't look surprised. We know they're cutting the forest. They're going to build a town here. What? But where will we live? We can live with them. They promised we would get to keep all our land. They can give us better medicine, better houses, and a better life. I like our life and our home. And what about the animals? Where will they live without the jungle? Akira, we're worried about us, not the animals. So they'll have nowhere to go? Nothing to eat? They just didn't care. They kept talking about the benefits of inviting these people in. I thought I was gonna have to stop them single-handedly, but Misa pulled me aside. We're not letting them do this. Really? You wanna stop them with me? No, you are gonna stop them with me. For the first time in our lives, Misa and I were on the same side. We made a pact to spy on these newcomers, find their weaknesses, and get rid of them. We sneaked beyond the river till we reached the edge of the jungle. I hid in a tree, watching the men brutally cut down my home. Suddenly, a strange boy jumped in front of me and put his hand on my mouth. Don't say anything. For a moment, all I could think about was how handsome he was. Then fear kicked in and I pushed him. He grabbed my leg as he fell and we both tumbled out of the tree. Ow! I looked up to see the tree cutters staring at us with rage. Who's this girl? And Jack! He's here! Get him! Run! 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 The boy grabbed my hand and we started running away. We'd almost reached the river when my clumsy feet sent me flying to the ground. Wait! Help me! Sorry, princess. Gotta go. I twisted my foot. Behind me, the men were still chasing us. If you go into the jungle without me, you won't make it. There's a million tigers there. He growled and threw me over his shoulder like I weighed nothing. I told him the way into the thickest trees where I knew the men wouldn't chase us. Why are you running away from them? I stole a bunch of food back home and they were going to put me in prison. So I escaped on this ship. Now these people want to send me back. All that just for stealing food? And gold. And this fancy crown. Oh, you're awful. Sure I am, princess. Now, are there any tigers near us? I lied about that. He dropped me right away. I'll be going now. Bye. He tried to run away, but just then a ghostly figure jumped on him and pinned him to the ground. It was Misa. She almost hurt him before I stopped her and told her who he was. You stole from those invaders? That's amazing. He is not amazing, but we can use what he knows to beat his people. What do I get for helping you? Your life. Oh, jeez. We tied up Jack's wrists and snuck him into an empty hut back home. We acted normal in front of the elders, and at night, Misa and I took turns interrogating Jack. He told us all about his hometown and all the crazy things he used to steal from his people. Wow, you pulled that off alone? I had a little help, but it was mostly me. Stealing is not something to brag about. They deserved it. My people are cruel and vicious. They charged my village so much tax that we lost our farm. You lost your land? And my freedom? Yeah, you know nothing about how hard my life has been. He went off to sulk in a corner, and for the first time I felt bad for Jack. The next night, I went into his hut to apologize, but he was gone. I called Misa over right away. He ran into the forest. Look, I see his footprints. We chased after his tracks through the thick jungle, and I was scared. We were out in the dark during bear season. Our worst fears came true when we heard a scream from inside the jungle. We ran towards the sound and found Jack hiding from a huge bear behind a boulder. Misa jumped to action immediately and climbed on top of the rock. She made herself look big and scary and let out deep growls till the bear fled. When Misa came down, Jack grabbed her in a hug. "That was incredible! You're like a bear goddess!" Thank you? "Why would you run away alone?" "I don't want to be anyone's servant, not even yours." "You can't cross the jungle without our help. The wolves come out at night. Are you ready for that?" "No." "Thought so." We stopped at a cave for the night so we wouldn't run into scary animals. While Misa started a fire, I tried to stop Jack from eating poisonous mushrooms. "Stop flicking my food away! You keep picking up the poisonous ones. Eat this." "How do you remember which one's which?" "She has a perfect memory. She remembers everything." "No way! Is that true?" Jack was utterly fascinated, and we spent the whole night talking about my awesome powers. He even dared me to recite every detail from random days in the past. "This is amazing! You can't hide in this jungle. You would be world famous." She just remembers things. I can scare bears. I can feed myself without being in danger. I can actually survive danger. And I'm next in line for being chief. Misa kicked a tree trunk in fury, and Jack had to jump in between us. Misa's mood was sour, and the next morning when we took off again, she walked far ahead of us. "I think my sister hates me." "No, she doesn't. Your gift is just hard to keep up with." "I didn't choose it." "True, but she didn't choose you. It isn't easy to be overshadowed by a sibling." I'd never thought of it that way. And a few days later, all hopes of Misa liking me were destroyed. Our father called a huge meeting for everyone. "We have an announcement to make. The elders have decided to make Akira our new chief. She will be inducted once she turns 15. "No! I'm the eldest child. I deserve that place, Father." "Akira's gift will make her the best leader. A great memory helps you make wise choices." "Wise? The girl who captured one of the newcomers and hid him in our hut? And she's making plans with him to get rid of those people." "What?" My jaw hit the floor as Misa ratted me out immediately. She even took him to see Jack. "Akira has been hiding this boy here for weeks. She made me lie about it too. Think about that before you make her chief." "Akira, I'm deeply disappointed in you." "Father, no! He didn't even let me speak. The elders took Jack away, and then Father turned furiously to me." "You went behind my back to make plans against me?" "I'm not making plans against you, but these people are cruel and they have to go." "We're not getting rid of them. These newcomers can help change our lives forever. You can't be chief if you don't see that." "I don't care about being chief. Our forest is a living being. You can't just cut it down." He was too furious to listen. He was even gonna hand Jack over to the newcomers as a sign of goodwill. I just lay in my hut in sheer sadness, waiting for the tree cutters to arrive. When one day, Misa broke through my door with tears in her eyes. "Akira, they've taken Father prisoner." "They what?" She told me that the newcomers had captured Father, and instead of letting us keep our land, they were gonna take everything for themselves. I knew we couldn't trust them. Snakes. I'm so sorry, Akira. I can't believe what I've done. You should kick me out of the tribe, or better yet, hit me. Right now, we need to think how to get Father back. We gathered all our people to make a plan, and most of us wanted to charge right into a fight. Did you look at their weapons? We can't fight them. We have to trick them into leaving. How is that possible? I have a plan. I quickly explained my idea, and everyone's tired faces lit up. If this fails, we'll have to fight anyway, so let's give this our best. Jack once told me that his people were terrified of new illnesses, so we gathered ash from all around our settlements and rubbed it all over our bodies and faces till we looked like ghosts. We crushed berries on our skin to look sick, and we walked into the newcomers' camp spitting milk out of our mouths. There's a sickness. We're all falling sick. It's spreading. A few people screamed, and I pretended to bite Misa and burst a bunch of berries in my mouth. The newcomers let out an ear-splitting shriek. "This land belongs to the devil! Run, or you shall fall sick!" I watched in awe as the newcomers ran screaming to their giant ship. I was so happy to see them leaving that I let out a premature shout of joy. "Hey, you're not sick!" Before the man could say another word, Misa jumped on him and cried, "I'm gonna eat you!" The man screeched and ran away like a rat. We growled like monsters till the invaders were gone. I can't believe it! It worked! Yes! Everyone burst into laughter and delight. Misa and I ran to their makeshift prison and pulled Father and Jack out. My children, oh thank God. Father grabbed my shoulders and apologized to me. I was foolish to not listen to the smartest person in my life. I almost destroyed everything we have. Can you ever forgive me, Akira? You were doing what you thought was best for the people. I betrayed her because I was jealous. I don't deserve to be chief. I don't even deserve to be your sister. Don't say that. I can't do anything without you. I wouldn't even be alive without you. Think about how many times you've saved my life. Think. Well, you're afraid of almost every animal. You're my strength. I need you by my side, Misa. Always. We grabbed each other in tears until my father tapped me on the shoulder and pointed at Jack. I believe your friend is having a breakdown. Since his people have left without him, he can stay with us. Good, because Akira likes him. No, I don't. Liar. I ignored her and ran over to Jack. Are you crying? Is it because your people left without you? These are tears of joy. I finally got rid of them. And I get to keep all of the gold. You know, if you live with us, you can't be stealing anymore. Wait, I can live with you? Only if you want to. You're not a prisoner anymore. He took me by surprise and grabbed me in a tight hug. A new life. This will be fun. Yes, it will.